Have you saved up money for all the rip-offs you're going to need in Disney World? Yeah, you heard me correctly. The very items you might be rolling your eyes at right now might actually be the ones that'll be most beneficial for you on your upcoming trip. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. We're all about saving money here on this channel, and the last thing we want you to do is throw your money away on something that could be a giant waste of your time and resources. But that doesn't mean some of these Disney World enhancements and souvenirs and events need to be written off entirely. Sure, these extra purchases could still be a waste for some, but on the other hand, they'll be majorly useful for others. So we're going to explore those oh so popular rip-offs and talk about who needs them and who'd be better off funneling their money elsewhere. Got your dollars and pennies ready? Let's begin. We're going to start with that ever popular park hopper. Don't want to settle on one park per day? How about 2 or 3 or all 4? Why would having access to multiple parks per day with an upgraded park hopper ticket versus having access to only one with a standard ticket be considered a ripoff in the first place? Well, for starters, park hopper tickets cost an extra $65 per regular ticket purchase. So for a family of 4, you're looking at an extra $260 on top of what you're already paying for those standard tickets. Plus, park hopper privileges don't start until after 2 p.m. At the start of your day, you have to go to the park you have a park pass reservation for. After 2, you'll be able to hop on over to any park after that as long as you have a park hopper, no reservation necessary. So is that expense worth it? Well, it could be. Let's talk first about who maybe should buy this. If you've only got a day or 2 in the parks, whether it be because of a Disney weekend getaway or because you've got other Orlando plans that you've got on the itinerary, maybe you're staying at the beach, then park hopping can help you see all 4 parks or as many parks as you want to see in one go. On the flip opposite side of things, park hopping can also give you double the amount of time in the parks in case you didn't get a chance to see and do everything you wanted to in one sitting. For instance, say you're going to Epcot, but you wound up spending the entire time in the World Showcase. I don't blame you. I mean, it's 11 countries worth of exploration to take on. Park hopping allows you to return to the park on a different day to hit up the rides you missed on the first go, while also giving you the freedom to go to a different park later on, meaning you don't have to commit to 2 full days of the exact same park. Now, who should keep both feet on the ground and maybe not hop quite so much? Well, attempting to hop to all 4 parks in one day is fun and different, and it's definitely an adventure in Disney World, especially if this isn't your first rodeo. But if this is your first time taking the bull by the horns, I don't know where all these wrangling metaphors are coming from, so don't mind me, then park hopping might not be the approach you want to take. For first-time visitors, you may be better off getting a feel for all the park offerings one park at a time instead of trying to overload yourselves with park after park after park. Oh, and for all of you who really are about to go on your first ever Disney World trip, A, congratulations, and B, we've got a video covering all the insider secrets for your first trip to Disney World that you should absolutely check out next. Now, aside from the newbies of Disney World, a park hopper might not be so much worth your time simply if you have, well, more time to spend. If you're looking at a week-long or perhaps even longer Disney World vacation, then you're going to have plenty of time to explore the parks thoroughly one day at a time without having to worry about cramming everything into one day or a weekend. So save the extra $65 per ticket for something else. Maybe even budget it toward one of the other so-called rip-offs on this list, perhaps. Speaking of, let's talk room upgrades and view or location upgrades at your hotel. Now, it's one thing to stay in a Disney World hotel. It's another thing entirely to stay at a Disney World hotel with gorgeous views. I'm not just talking about pool views here. I'm talking about those truly unique views exclusive to the Disney World property. For example, you've got the Savannah views at Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge, where you might one day wake up and see a giraffe or zebra right outside your window. You've got the theme park views at the Monorail Resorts, aka Disney's Contemporary, Polynesian, and Grand Floridian Resort and Spa, which will give you views of Cinderella Castle, meaning you'll also be able to watch the nightly fireworks from the comfort of your hotel room. And you've also got those nature fireworks views at Disney's Wilderness Lodge, where you'll be able to watch Magic Kingdom fireworks among the surrounding greenery. And let's not forget about preferred rooms that allow you to choose your room's location, giving you the chance to be placed closer to somewhere at the hotel, like the bus stop, the pool, the lobby. But each of these specialty rooms does cost extra moolah. But let's talk about why the ends may justify the means. Who should splurge on scenery? Personally, I think nightly fireworks outside your hotel room are pretty awesome, and I know my kid has loved staying in those rooms where he gets to see the fireworks at night. Now, if you're planning on celebrating a honeymoon or a baby moon or an anniversary or just life with your loved one, then splurging on a fireworks room might just be the chocolate drizzle cherry rainbow sprinkles on top of an epic celebration. But those gorgeous views aren't just for the adult getaways. Can you imagine how excited your kids would be to see animals outside their hotel window every day? okay? So if you and your family don't plan on vacationing at Disney World often, then going all out for one of these rooms with a view might be worth it for the YOLO factor alone. As far as preferred rooms go, if you or someone you're traveling with has mobility concerns, being able to choose a room closer to the bus stops or the lobby, or even food, could be extremely beneficial. And preferred rooms are usually only around $20 extra per night. Now, who should settle on wherever, whenever? Well, as far as the prices for those exceptional views are concerned, well, they can get steep. But then again, what Disney World room isn't expensive nowadays? Savannah View rooms at Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge range from $500 to $900 per night. Nature fireworks rooms at Disney's Wilderness Lodge range between $500 and $750 per night. And theme park views at the monorail resorts range from $650 to a whopping $1,300 per night. So if you want to save money, then maybe you don't choose one of those. And word of advice, if you don't want to pay the premium price for the Savannah views, request a partial Savannah view. Sure, there'll be some buildings slightly blocking your view, but you're still going to be able to see a ton of animals without paying that costly price for a full-on Savannah view. Sometimes these are called obstructed view rooms too. Just because you request a partial or obstructed view doesn't mean you'll necessarily get one, but it never hurts to try. Now, if the priority for your Disney World trip is spending as much time in the parks as possible, we're talking sunup to sundown with no break days on the schedule whatsoever, then investing the extra money toward a room like this really isn't going to be worth it. You just need a place to crash each night. Then as long as your room has a bed and a bathroom, you're going to be all set. Spending extra for the bells and whistles is just going to end up being a waste in the end, and trust me, you're going to feel bad that you didn't spend more time in the room, because that happens to me all the time. Okay, next on our list, minivans. It's happening, people. Those lovely red and white polka dotted minivans, the ones I spend all my money on all the time, are returning to the Disney World streets this summer. Lazy people unite. Just like me, I use minivans all the time. Why? Because I'm late for everything. Minivans are Disney's version of a rideshare service. In fact, you can request a minivan directly through the Lyft rideshare app. Now, cast members can, once again, drive you and your group around Disney World property. So, who should use a minivan? Are you someone who prefers getting around via rideshare service? Then minivans might be your new favorite way to travel around the most magical place on Earth. Rideshares can pick guests up in a jiffy, which is great news for those who might have to wait forever and a day for their Disney bus to finally pick them up and take them from point A to point B. It's especially great news too if you're running late for a dining reservation, me, and you don't have time to wait on Disney's complimentary transportation services, also me. Rideshares and minivans provide you and your group a private ride to the parks instead of having to get crammed into one of Disney's buses, or even worse, be forced to stand on a bus after being on your feet all day long in the parks. And minivans are also great for groups with younger kids because each vehicle comes equipped with two very, very nice child safety seats. They're always updated, they're clean, they're excellent. I've seen many of them, I've used many of them, and they're awesome. Now, who should skip the minivans and the ride shares? Okay, big picture. Minivans are a rideshare service, so they're not going to be part of the complimentary transportation that Disney provides its resort guests. Prices for minivans vary, but before the temporary closure, we saw prices for these rides range between $20 and $50 to get around Disney property. Those kinds of prices can add up super fast if you are not careful, like me, and can really catch you off guard if you didn't budget for them ahead of time, also like me. Also, if you're traveling with a big group, more than one minivan might be necessary to get the entire party to your desired destination, since these vans can only accommodate a certain number of people at a time. So sure, Disney buses can be a bit on the slower side, but if you factor the extra time it takes to ride on one of these complimentary shuttles into your itinerary, then the free rides will save you from having to spend money that you could spend literally anywhere else, like on another Disney mug, to add to your collection back home, for instance. This is me too. Okay, you knew we'd get to this one eventually, right? Disney Genie Plus and individual attraction selections. Last year, we were introduced to a little something called Disney Genie, the latest My Disney Experience travel planning tool that can create personalized itineraries for you and your group to maximize your time in the parks. At least that's what Disney wants you to think. Although there is a free version of the Disney Genie, the premium version, aka Disney Genie Plus, and individual attraction selections gives you access to lightning lanes or shorter queue lines for many rides and shows and other attractions. Disney Genie Plus is $15 per person per day and grants guests access to over 40 plus lightning lanes for rides, and individual attraction selections are a flexible price per person per ride for lightning lane access to the most popular rides in each of the parks. Those are separate from Genie Plus. Now, that's simplifying this service majorly. There are a whole bunch of pieces that we've thoroughly explored in other videos, and you can totally check those out next. What you need to know for the sake of this video is that many guests have written off this premium service as nothing more than a cash grab, especially since it replaced Disney World's FastPass system, which was totally free. But then again, some people are super excited with Disney Genie Plus and the IAS features. Some even claim it might be better than FastPass. Is that a safe thing to throw out in the open yet? Is it too soon? Okay. So who should get Disney Genie Plus? Again, if you only have one day in Disney World and you want to make the most out of your time there by hitting up the most rides and seeing the most shows, then you really have never had a friend like Disney Genie Plus. Get it? This is especially true if you plan on going to a park like Magic Kingdom or Hollywood Studios, where there's tons of rides and they're very busy. Now, Disney's mentioned before to only expect to grab 2 to 3 lightning lanes per day when you make a Disney Genie Plus purchase. But in our experience, if you start making lightning lane reservations at 7 a.m. from your Disney hotel, you can probably manage lots more than that. I'll link our post in the description for the time we were able to grab 12 lightning lanes in Magic Kingdom. Disney Genie Plus and individual attraction selections can also be a worthy investment if you've got kids or fellow group members whom you know will have something to say about the obscene lines all day long. Maybe you are that group member. Is it me? Am I the drama? Probably. So splurging a little extra to make sure your party doesn't turn into a grumpy Gus by the end of the day can transform this ripoff into a lifesaver. So were you budgeting money for a potential souvenir from the parks? If you get to Disney and decide you'd rather spend the extra $15 on an experience rather than another knickknack, Disney Genie Plus is going to save you time and space in your suitcase too. And don't think that Disney Genie Plus will only get you on the rides in a shorter amount of time, though admittedly that's the biggest part about why you purchased this. With the purchase of this planning tool, you can unlock fun extras like exclusive photo filters you can take around the parks and audio tours that will tell you more about the history and Imagineering behind iconic sections of the parks. So if you want to learn more reasons why investing in Genie Plus or IAS could be the best route for you, check out our When Should You Pay for Your Rides video next. Now, who should not buy Genie Plus? Hold on, folks. I'm not saying everyone needs to fork over the extra cash for this premium service. Although Disney Genie does help alleviate wait times, it can be a nuisance to learn about last minute. So if you don't have the time to study how this service works before your trip, don't stress over it the day of. Disney Genie Plus is not a necessity for the parks. The main queues are still open for anyone to use. And if you're planning on using those early theme park hours, which are given to Disney hotel guests and select Good Neighbor hotel guests, you can knock out some of those priority rides 30 minutes before the parks officially open. Does that mean those rides will be a walk-on that early in the day? Not for the more popular rides, but possibly for some of the smaller ones. You might even be able to knock out multiple rides before the rope officially drops for the day. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, the first time I bought Genie Plus, I bought it in the middle of the day, which was super dumb. Why? Because most of the ride times were already taken up. The only rides I could ride were later in the evening, and I had dinner reservations and couldn't even ride them. So that was $15 just totally down the drain. So really, you do need to study this beforehand. Okay, next up, we're going to talk about those magic bands. It's not a bracelet or a bangle or a watch or a sweatband. Actually, scratch that last one. This could most definitely be a sweatband if you're wearing it in Florida. Magic bands are their own kind of accessory, created specifically to be used in Disney World. Magic bands become your key to the kingdom. They hold your park tickets, your hotel keys, credit card information, PhotoPass photos, and they're about to be updated this year with even more features that'll allow you to further immerse yourself into the stories playing out around the parks with that Magic Band Plus that's coming up. And there are hundreds of Magic Band designs you can choose from. You can fashion your favorite characters, support your favorite rides, or dazzle your friends and family with tons of glitter. But here's the thing. You don't have to have one of these Magic Bands to pull off a successful Disney trip. You can use Magic Mobile on your phone to hold on to your tickets, or you can get a physical card too. And both options won't cost you a penny more than you've already spent. So why bother with a Magic Band? Well, plain and simple, Magic Bands are fun. Not only can you choose a style that matches your personality or preferences, but you get to invest in something that doubles as a souvenir and a handy-dandy tool around the parks. They're also super convenient. I'm not gonna lie, I love going to the parks with no purse or bag. Just having my Magic Band and everything on it is super, super useful. And instead of reaching for your phone or card each time you have to access your tickets, keys, or PhotoPass, you have all of that located on your wrist at all times. Plus, they're waterproof, so you don't have to worry about taking the bands off when you're swimming in the resort pool or taking a shower. That's super helpful because how many times, this may be not something you guys do, but how many times have you been swimming and your kid really, really, really wants a snack and you have to go to the snack bar and you have to pay and you don't have a credit card, you left it in your room? Having a Magic Band makes it just really, really easy. Now, if you don't don't already have a Magic Band and you plan on returning to the parks in the near future, it might be nice to have one on hand since they are reusable. Yep, that's right. You don't have to purchase a new one with each visit, but I won't judge if you do because new designs are coming out all the time. You can also use the Magic Band purchased from trips past to load your next round of reservations and tickets too. Bria and I have both been using the same Magic Bands for like 4 years, so you can definitely keep using it. It doesn't wear out that quickly. Now, who should take on the parks in a different style? Who should not get those Magic Bands? Well, Magic Bands aren't cheap. The most basic Magic Band style starts at $19.99, while more exclusive offerings can be $34.99 or even more. You can, however, get select Magic Band designs for a discount on the Disney World website if you order them as a pre-arrival exclusive for your upcoming vacation. Then you can get them sent to your home before you leave. But even exclusive designs purchased at a pre-arrival price still cost a good chunk of change, like $20 per person. So again, a family of 4 would be looking at paying an extra $80 before the trip kicks off. For kiddos, that kind of money may be better spent on a different kind of souvenir that they can play with after the trip's over instead of one that's only really relevant while the trip's taking place. And the same could be said about you too. It may be more worth your time to invest in a souvenir you can keep using back home, like Disney-themed kitchenware, comfy cozy sweatshirts, or personalized commemorative ornaments that you can put on a Christmas tree every year. Sure, Magic Bands can be used again, but they're really only useful on your Disney vacations. And if you don't plan on vacationing to the parks that often, your Magic Band might end up abandoned in a junk drawer somewhere or neglected amongst the safety pins and fast food receipts at the bottom of your purse. And as I said before, you don't have to have a Magic Band to still have access to all your important Disney World reservations and ticket info. If you plan on purchasing a Magic Band to reuse it for trips to come, then you might want to wait for the Magic Band Plus to release later this year. That'll come with color-changing lights, haptic vibrations, and gesture recognition. If you know you're the type of person who will turn around and purchase the latest and greatest tech for your trip, then better save that money for when it finally releases, which we'll update you on as soon as we hear about an exact date. Okay, tacking on the Disney dining plan. I had to tack on the Disney dining plan even though it's technically not back yet. Disney says it's coming back soon, and man, to tell you it feels like they're toying with us at this point is the understatement of the year. But in the meantime, let me fill you in on what this extra cost is all about, because this hasn't been around in Disney World for 2 years, so probably a lot of you are brand new and don't even know what a Disney dining plan is, right? So the Disney dining plan is a pre-purchased addition to your vacation package, and it sets the number of counter service, table service, restaurant meals, and snacks you're allowed to have during your trip. Basically, you're prepaying for your food. Now, to say this is a ripoff only applies to some, not all. Let's break down why that is. So who needs to get the Disney dining plan? Well, the Disney dining plan can take a lot of budgeting stress off your Disney World vacation. In the past, and I'm guessing in the future too, Disney has a few different dining plan packages to choose from, so you can find whatever price point and plan best suits you and your group. Whichever decision you made sealed your meal prices ahead of time, meaning when you go to the parks, you didn't have to worry about pulling out your wallet for meals or snacks. Everything was covered, so the only thing you had to worry about was what you were going to order. The steak, the chicken, the sustainable fish, decisions. And for those who love going to the signature restaurants, ordering multiple courses, and dining on the highest priced items on the menu, the Disney dining plan was absolutely worth the cost. You didn't have to worry about overspending at any specific restaurant because, hey, you already paid. And even if the total amount of food you ordered during your trip ended up costing more than what you originally paid for with the Disney dining plan, it didn't matter. You never had to pay the difference, which is why this dining plan became so beneficial for families who wanted to experience multiple top-tier restaurants and order the most expensive things at all of them. But that being said, the Disney dining plan could also be seen as a major burden and ripoff. By prepaying for all your meals before the start of your trip, you kind of fell to the mercy of the Disney dining plan. Having a big meal for lunch and aren't feeling too munchy after, you may still have Disney dining snack credits to spend that you have to spend, otherwise you'll lose them and therefore lose money. Don't want to order anything big at the table service restaurant you're dining at? Then you may not get your money's worth. That's right, if you're not eating steak and lobster every day, it's not going to be worth the money to get the dining plan. I break it down like this. Disney's not dumb. They've done their research. They know how much people spend on food in their parks. So they're going to set that Disney dining plan price tag right at the top of what people spend on average in the parks. So if you fall below that average at all, meaning if you buy anything less than the most expensive stuff, you're probably going to end up losing money on your Disney dining plan. And what we often hear here at DFB is that it's a lot of food and a lot of people can't even eat that much food. And yet they already paid for it. so they kind of feel like they have to. So for families or groups that don't need to order a lot of food for every meal, the Disney dining plan might have forced you to make different, heavier decisions than you'd usually order, simply to make the dining plan worth the price you spent. But really, is it worth the cost if you're forced to order more food than you're wanting to eat in the first place for practically every meal? There's a lot more to the Disney dining plan that I could get into. For the sake of time, I'll spare you the deets for now. But if you want to study up on this extra expense before it returns, when it returns, this might be the perfect time to invest in something that will guarantee is worth your hard-earned money. The DFB Guide to Walt Disney World Dining 2022 is a guide I write every year, twice a year. This guide has a whole chapter that breaks down all the pros and cons of the Disney dining plan to help you decide if it's the right investment for your family, or if it'll still be a huge ripoff you worried it would be. Along with that, we've got so many pages of dining tips and reviews and price points to help you decide what restaurants are going to satisfy your family in Disney World. But how can we guarantee this digital guidebook will be worth your money? Easy. If it turns out to not be a trustworthy companion for you, let me know, and I'll refund your purchase. So you're going to want to be careful with the things you decide to buy in Disney World. Some of them are going to be ripoffs, and some of them are going to be the best purchase ever. And it's very interesting that all of the ones in this particular video could be both. Now, we've got some great budgeting tips we want to share with you on our website and our YouTube channel here. So stick around as we keep finding you more ways to save and more things you might want to make a little extra budget space for. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful for you. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.